Saru, Samara, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Very welcome.
And first of all, first question, how did the Ruzavia become Delhi Sultanate when you Begum X? What's the story?
Those are very long questions.
Okay, brief, perhaps.
I grew up, my mom is an academic, so I traveled with her, and I grew up when I was young, I was in Europe, and I kind of got into corporate reggae music. I discovered reggae and music as a kid, quite early. My sister was 10, 11 years old, started writing raps, and yeah, that's kind of
And how?
I began singing about 6 years ago, 2009, when I met Stefan, who is the pianist of my band, the Ska Boys. And he just randomly asked me if I wanted to sing for the band, who was starting the Ska band. That's how I began. And I was not listening so much to reggae music before that. So my education in reggae, ska, dub, rocksteady, all of the related genres began after I met Stefan and after I met Begum.
So when did you meet and how did you start? How did you start this with among other journeys?
started, I mean, I would say in about 2009. We met in about 2009, and then we started performing together with the band, and other things kind of happened actually. We do shows separately outside of that, building the sound systems, all things just kind of.
But you've been around the Delhi electronica scene, especially like I was talking to Sham earlier, and he was telling me about the Desu days. So what was that like?
Well, it all started there, I found, because for me personally, up until Desu, I was just kind of by myself, and I actually ended up doing poetry events because I felt that was the only outlet. Like, I didn't think I would get a chance to really do hip-hop music or reggae music. So when Desu happened, I felt that it brought a lot of us together and it created a space where suddenly, and I used to just get on the mic regularly. I remember Sham performed once and I just jumped on the mic, and it created that space where there's possibility for us to connect. And Base Foundation, which was my first kind of outfit where we started organizing our own nights, grew out of this relationship we built through this.
How have you seen when did you start, in Delhi?
2009.
How you see around the same time? So how have you seen the musical scene evolve in Delhi? It's been about 7 years now.
The reggae scene or music scene?
In general, maybe sort of not the usual music that you see. Maybe if you go to a pub in Oscars, you see that caters to a certain kind of music. Like I probably wouldn't see, for instance, word sound power performing anywhere.
Yeah.
So how, in terms of that, especially politics in music, because one of the reasons why we really wanted you to come here is because essentially this mixture with politics and music, right? Especially word sound power.
I think the time is right for politics and music that we're living in now.
As far as how it's grown, it's still very difficult. I mean, see, Scotland we operate kind of in the commercial space, in a way, like we play your NH7s, we walk, it's a constant balancing act. It's like a tightrope walk where you try and meet those expectations that come with, playing those kind of venues, and you still try and represent a certain kind of politics, and it's a constant conflict in a way. So while I feel like we somehow managed to negotiate that space, and we don't have to compromise what we do too much, at the same time it's also very frustrating and limiting space. I think what I yearn for, and maybe those things are happening more and I'm not enough aware of it enough. Like for instance, you're creating a space here where people can come together, which is a very different atmosphere.
And in fact today we're stripping it down and not using any music and just using
it's just words.
Wonderful.
But so I feel there's more of that happening, but we're yearning for, part of the reason we built the sound system together also is we really need to have our own resources and get away from the market, It's cool, you don't surrender the space, you work within there if you can, but we need to have our own space, otherwise you will always be allowed in this little bubble, and how effective is that bubble? I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, precisely. Bubble. In fact, that is sort of the idea behind this. To gradually take these things beyond our academic or literary or artistic bubbles and reach out to the people, in fact, that we are writing about. Like, I'm a journalist. I write stories and I feel sad that at the end of it, the people I'm writing about, they can't read my stories because there's a language barrier, first of all. And so many
The class barrier, language barrier, lots of things that we have to negotiate with.
I think with our sound system, we hope to do something.
I really wanted to catch it at JNU this time. I saw the pictures and God.
Man, we want to do more. And see, with the sound system, it's all about building relationships and finding space. Because now we have the system and our performance to contribute to this, but we need people to work with. Like someone who can control the space, like in JNU, you know, we need people there, then we're like, okay, call us, we create a context to make this work. So those are the things we're interested in doing.
But we created those relationships by going to JNU. And by being with them at the marches, showing them us and that's what made that show possible.
And finally, what do you think of what we're trying to do here and what made you agree to be part of it?
I don't yet know what to think, to be honest, because, to be honest, I didn't do a lot of research or checking who you guys are, but I like the tone in your mail and what you said, and I think there's only to be gained from attempting something. You know, like you guys are attempting to create a space and enable a certain conversation, and I honor that attempt. And for us also, we're trying, and that means there's also failures along the way, you know, and we have to be willing to make mistakes. And that's good. Like, let's say, for instance, we may do the show today and find that, walk away with the feeling of, okay, man, this was a bit contrived and whatnot, but that hopefully will help us grow and become more relevant.
Actually, I read somewhere where it said that art is very much about failure because there's a huge gap between what the artist imagines and what is realized. And so therefore it's always failure.
He's able to translate.
So there's success and failure.
From what I saw in the mail that you sent me, I felt like it's an honest attempt. That we're all trying to
And what we're very big on is creating these relationships that we're trying.
We need each other. We need each other, you know. So.
Thank you so much. Please, I think everyone wants. Please. One song. You probably know them as Scavengers, but yeah, you should really check out their stuff out.
Out in the streets they're singing jam hymn for those who are silent, no longer seen. More of us than they seem. How I feel, sun in the sky. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, and I'm